Once again, good morning. It's our joy to be here with all of you. One of my favorite meditations is from time to time to open my eyes and see all of the beautiful faces wherever we are here in Delhi, as we are at this moment, and in different places, meditation groups, centers, colonies, all of that. And it so much speaks of Master's omnipresence, the blessings of God through each and every one of us, through our eyes, through our faces, and think of what a great good we do as we go about in this world doing, just thinking good thoughts and saying kind words and sharing our vibration, because we are here to encourage one another. That's very, very important. And as we're able to do that, we find that the joy and the privilege of being in spiritual family, we can't even measure. When we realize, we'll see the blessings that we've been given with God and gurus and Kriya and so forth. Right now, we have a little inkling, no doubt. But when we're free, we'll see, my goodness, what blessings God has flown through us in this incarnation and over the incarnations to get us to the point where we are right now. We're speaking of the balanced life, and thank God for India as a great example of what it is to live the balanced life through the centuries. India right now, of course, is going through a phase where we have to, here in this country, build up the resources and so forth. As I often say, the British just left, and I think it's interesting that the U.S. and India have that in common. We both kicked out the British, and it's not to say that we don't love the British, we love everyone, but nevertheless, in this Leela, that's exactly what happened, and it takes time to rebuild. But nevertheless, as Swamiji shared many, many years ago when he was here in India in the late 50s, he said he was worried a little bit about India because of the emphasis on the material aspect. But then he thought, no, there's no worries here. This place is the guru of the world. India is the guru of the world. And this passing phase, as we experience passing phases in our life, will pass. And what will remain, especially here in this sacred country, is God. And so many times we'll talk with people and they'll say, I went to India, I didn't even know why. But there's something there and I can't wait to go back again. They may not even have a clue as to the power, the spiritual power that's here. But nevertheless, there is that great magnetism that is magnetizing the entire world. You Indians, again, are taking over everything. And whenever we go to America, we just see you guys everywhere. It's so refreshing, and we miss India, but not as much, because you, again, have taken over the whole place. And thank God for that, because people, by seeing you, remember, hopefully, the depth of India. And so the balanced life, we are all battling every single moment, truly, to live in a state of balance, to live in a state where we're centered in God. And more we find that becomes our very, very tip-top priority. We must be in God at all times. And Yogananda's teachings are very clear, and it's really become a mantra for me. You must be very joyous and happy at all times. And I like to think that there's no wiggle room in that. Well, maybe I can be in a mood for an hour or two, no big deal. You must, that's a very strong word. You must be that's a strong word too, very joyous and happy at all times, no wiggle room. So what does that speak of? It speaks of center. It speaks of how important it is to live in our spines, to live in our hearts. That's where God and Guru reside, in our hearts. And after a while, in the beginning it can be rough. One time I shared with a retreatant, I hope I didn't shock him. He was asking me some questions, and I said, something, the best thing to do as you're just getting on the spiritual path is write off the first 10 years. And I hope it was helpful for him, because this is not, a 50-yard dash for most. I hope it is for you. But for most, it's the Boston Marathon. We have to really, really be willing day after day after day to put out the necessary energy in order to magnetize ourselves that we might find God this lifetime. As I said earlier, we had an informal satsang here, and someone was saying, well, I'll hope to find God in X number of lifetimes. And I said, keep your options open this lifetime, because we don't know. God comes like a thief in the night. And God is so mischievous. We will know that. Look what he's done in this world. Yogananda said, God was lonely, so he created all of this. And I think, oh my gosh, I wish someone would have comforted him, prior to creating all of this. My goodness, God is the director and playing all parts. Let's not forget that. And so, though he's lonely for us, we have to wink, because, my goodness, he's the director and playing all parts. How can he be lonely? And we're lonely for him. And we have to wink again, because we have him. Yogananda was impatient when he would hear people say, when will I have him? When will I have him? Don't say that. Say, I have him. He thinks my thoughts. He walks through my feet, all of that. And so when we think of in terms of balance, we have to really go into a state of deep relaxation. That's what yoga is good for, where we relax into that human aspect of ourselves and all of our idiosyncrasies and all the silly things that we do and so forth, and the good things too, of course. And yet at the same time know beyond the shadow of a doubt who we really are. As Swamiji, we were listening to a beautiful talk of his yesterday, and he was saying that, really, we have to keep in mind that the saints and us, we're the same. There is no difference. The only loose end is they're awake and we're not. But in terms of the essence of who we are, the very, very essence, we're the same. How could it be otherwise? And so we really, in staying balanced, we have to really, and it really does take energy, and it takes constant vigilance and introspection. We have to really stay on the job. I love the image of the tightrope walker. And don't they speak of the spiritual path as a razor's edge? And there's that cable, and he's got that bar to balance him, and he keeps his eye. He doesn't say, oh, there's a bird or something, unless he's an expert. Maybe he can get away with that. But, even the experts, I would imagine, they're not wanting to fall, especially some of these daredevils don't even have nets underneath. And you think, oh my gosh, one slip and they're gone. And so for us, we have to think in a way that it's high stakes for us. Because when we slip, we have to be careful that we don't lose a decade, because the mind is very strong. Oh, I think I'll go and do this and so. Go chase my soulmate, or, and all the things that are available in this world. It's not to say that is not a bad thing to do. We all have our roles to play. But the main thing is that the Maya is so strong, all it cares to do, every single moment, is to blow us off course. It does it through a thought. It does it through a feeling. It does it through environment. It does it through diet, lack of exercise, a million different things. Blow us off course. Take us off our center. And so all we have to remember is to stay centered. All we have to remember is to stay balanced and understand that we're not bothering God and the gurus. Bother them. They like that. Bother them. Excuse me, but I just lost my pencil. Do you know where it is? I think, what? They're going to be bothered by that? They are the pencil. They know where they are. We don't know where the pencil is, but they know. And so bit by bit, we begin to appreciate that we're not here alone. We are here with one another. We're here with the saints. We're here in our meditation. We're here in our seva. And so, in closing, live the balanced life. and know for a fact that it really isn't that difficult. Years ago, when I was doing a satsang in Palo Alto, I printed up some cards that I had found from Master's teachings. Finding God is easy. And I liked it so much that I passed them out. I never did it before or since, a little unorthodox, but I won't pass them out today. But to keep in our minds, finding God is easy. It should be that way because we are His children. And we are not in this, state, as Yogananda said. We're in God for eternity. We're in Maya for a short time. Remember that, a short time. And then back in God for eternity. A short time. And when finally we're free, we'll know that that is the case. And that is true. So the balanced life, there's so much more than meets the eye. When we think about it on a deep and yogic level, to stay centered, as the yogis say, live more in the spine, especially in our hearts, and keep the Guru and God very, very close. That's very, very important for those who think me near. As Yogananda said, I will be near. So I'll pass this on now to Roma.
It's always a joy to do Sunday satsang with Haridas because he inspires me so much. When it's my turn to stand up, I feel so inspired. This is a reading from Whispers from Eternity, Paramahansa Yogananda. Prayer at dawn. With the opening of the earliest dawn and the lotus buds, my soul softly opens in prayer to receive thy light. Bathe each petal of my mind with thy radiant rays. I saturate myself with the perfume of thy presence, and I wait to waft with the breeze of the aroma of thy message of love to all. Bless me, that with the spreading dawn I may spread thy love everywhere. Bless me, that with the awakening dawn I may awaken all souls with my own and bring them to thee. And I have one more short reading from The New Path. This is Yogananda. This is Swami Kriyananda talking about Yogananda. His words may have contained a serious blessing. At any rate, soon thereafter, I found I could often tell at a glance whether a man belonged at Mount Washington or not. As nearly as I remember, when such a feeling came to me, it always proved justified. Master, in his talks with us, always sought to turn our minds toward God. He urged us to see the Lord manifest in everything and everyone. Respect one another, he once told us, as you respect me. Many hours he spent talking with us, giving us help and encouragement. Above all, he urged us to seek our inspiration inwardly in meditation. And for each one of us, we have such a wonderful example in the life of Swami Kriyananda in how to achieve the balanced life. The affirmation this morning we chose was God remembrance. And honestly, we can't really be balanced unless we're remembering God, because everything comes from God. We are from God. We are going back to God, as Haridas said. But we need to feel his presence in deep meditation. Swamiji said, above all, Yogananda said, seek God in deep meditation. And that's what this path is about. This path is about realizing beyond a shadow of a doubt, beyond any thought, beyond what anybody can tell you, whatever the world gives you, beyond all your successes and failures, all your emotional upheavals, all of your losses and your gains, beyond any of that, God is with you, and you are one with God. Yogananda described this path of self-realization, realizing the self, as knowing in all parts of our body and our mind and our soul that we are a part of God, that his omnipresence is our omnipresence. And he said, all we have to do is improve our knowing. Improve our knowing. That's what realizing the self means. Realizing that our little self is already one with God. On some deep level, our soul knows that. There's a remembrance of it. And that's why, because of the yearning of our souls for the light, for more love, for God, there's a yearning in our souls that becomes so prevalent that God can't ignore us anymore. And because of that, it says in the Bhagavad Gita, because of the call of aspiring love, these great masters have descended to give us the way to find God once and for all and to realize who we really are. These great masters, Swami Kriyananda would tell us over and over, came because we asked. And now that they've come, Babaji, Lahiri, Sri Yukteswar, Jesus Christ, Paramahansa Yogananda, Ramakrishna, Ananda Moyma, all of the great masters, Buddha, they've come because we've called. We called. And now they are like a calm ocean in the middle of this delusion, this restless world that we're in. And they have come during this time, during this age of Dwapara Yuga, to calm the storms, not only of the world, but of our restless minds and our restless hearts. Oh, if only I had this, if only I could go there, if only that hadn't happened, if only I had this much more money, if only my child would graduate, if only. Forget the if onlys. Remember the yearning of your soul and what's underneath all of those desires. What's underneath it all is a desire for Divine Mother. And so she's heard us, and she gives us her blessings. But now Master says, in deep meditation, this is where you will find Divine Mother. And once you find her, you will never go back to the other way of living, yearning for the little baubles of this world. They disappear so quickly. They're gone. We cannot take our bodies with us into the astral world. They're gone. And this life goes by in the flash of an instant. It really goes by so fast. But that's why the balanced life is so important, because we need to be in the present moment. Yogananda said, when you're happy in the present moment, you have God. It's not going to be out in the future. The past is over. We can't do anything to change it. But in this moment, this is where God is. He's in your heart. He's in your mind. He's in every cell of your being. He's in every thought. He's in every word. He's in every experience. He's in every guru bhai. Once you begin to realize God in deep meditation, then all of a sudden a miracle happens. You begin to see God everywhere. You begin to see God in your guru bhais, in your family members, in your children, your husband, your wives, your co-workers, your bosses, your relatives, these people that are difficult in your lives. You begin to see God there and understand that also they too, they are seeking God. They just don't know where to go. They don't know how to, they don't have that guidance yet. They haven't had the grace that we have. That grace happens, Master said, not all the time. We not only have one guru, we have all of these gurus. And they have come now, in this moment, to transform our lives as we move into a new age. So we'll be able to receive the inspiration of a higher consciousness. This is why we practice Kriya Yoga, to refine our energy so that we can receive Divine Mother. That's why we go deep into meditation. And when you receive Divine Mother, and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are that, then all your troubles will be gone. It's not that you have to eat organic food to find God, or, do two or three sets of yoga a day and 5,000 kriyas, and you don't have to do all those things. All you have to do is seek Divine Mother in deep meditation. She'll tell you what to do. And everybody's different. Everybody's a different spark of the infinite. Everybody has a different blessing. Everybody has a unique path to God. And when you tune into Divine Mother's guidance through meditation, she'll tell you. No worries. And it'll be a way that you never even dreamed. She'll tell you. I remember once when Swamiji told we came to Ananda, and we kind of picked up the jobs that we felt that we were good at and we were skilled at and we could really get the work out. And then Swami would pick you out of your little comfort zone and he would say, do this. In my case, it was public speaking. Believe me, I did not go willingly. Kicking and screaming is much more like it. Oh, no, not that. And he just kept saying, just do it, just get up there, just go up there and talk. And I was just like this the whole time. But now I see many years later how it's helped me to just forget about what I want to do, to get me out of thinking what I have to give the world, and to tune into Divine Mother and see what she wants to give the world through me. And each one of us has that gift. If you tune in. Living the balanced life is getting to know yourself. That's what living the balanced life is. Everybody has something to offer. Everybody has a beautiful gift to share. You know, we've been we just listened to this beautiful talk, and I'll close now, but of this man called Dr. Moody, and he wrote the book Life After Life. And he gave a talk at the Ramakrishna Ashram. I think it was in San Francisco or someplace. But he gave a talk. And this gentleman has interviewed thousands of people who have left their body, experienced cosmic consciousness, actually, experienced God, experienced themselves as divine love, and then come back to tell the story. And what he says that is prevalent through each one of these souls, thousands he's interviewed, that they all come back, and they don't know each other, and he doesn't share their personal stories. He's a doctor, he's very professional. Each one of them comes back, and each one of them says the only important thing is that we need to learn how to love. None of it matters. None of it. Think of it. All the things we're concerned about and we're worried and we're so pressured, the only thing that matters is love. Yogananda said, when I leave, only love will take my place. And so that is what we're doing in this incarnation, in this lifetime, is learning to love, learning to share that love, and learning to understand who we really are as children of Divine Mother. So it's our pleasure to be here with you today, and we pray that each one of you will feel her love in your life and share it very consciously right where God has placed you. So God bless you.